King Von was chilling in Lil Durk's mansion along with Muwop. They was hitting it together while listening to music. They had just released their debut album and were celebrating it together. However, there was something bad that was going to happen.
They dissed NBA Youngboy in their album, and he wasn't having it. Von thought that dissing him won't make any change, because Youngboy isn't a street dude as he always claims to be. But this time, Youngboy decided to prove them wrong. He got a drop on their location, and he immediately assembled his men, and they all went directly to Lil Durk's mansion to kill them all.
There was only one guard in front of the gates, so it was definitely going to be easy to enter. Youngboy knocked him out on the ground while one of his men finished him on the ground. They took out their guns and got ready to infiltrate the mansion, taking out everybody inside. They used the back door. They creeped up from behind, making sure they surprised their targets while they least expecting it. King Von and Muwop were out of guard, so Youngboy took the chance and shot at them, hitting Muwop and killing him instantly. Von ran for his life, while Youngboy and his men tried to shoot him, but he successfully escaped. Durk came out with an AK-47, and he was wasting Youngboy's men one by one. Durk shot at Youngboy's weapon, throwing him off too. He shot at it again to prevent him from reaching it. Von came out with a bat, and he approached Youngboy. He hit him hard in the head that he lost consciousness. Von and Durk left the mansion with Youngboy, leaving the dead bodies behind. They put Youngboy in the trunk and took him with them in order to throw him in the ocean. Von opened the trunk, took a wrench out, and started beating Youngboy up with it multiple times to tire him up. Youngboy was covered in blood and begged Von to stop, but Von refused to have pity on him as he killed his best friend, Muwop. The process continued until Von decided to stop and take Youngboy out from the trunk, cuff him up so he doesn't escape. He told Durk to watch over Youngboy. Meantime, Von went down to the boat to turn it on so they could take Youngboy in the middle of the ocean and throw him out there, cuffed and beaten, to die a slow and painful death under the pits of the ocean. Youngboy hopped in the boat after Von. Durk was the last to come down and aim at Youngboy so you don't try nothing on them both, and they drove away from the place. After reaching a far spot, Durk told Youngboy to walk to the front of the boat. Durk followed him and took shot at him, throwing him in the water, and then they immediately escaped, assuming Youngboy was done. Durk and Von ditched the boat and went to their car and drove away, thinking their problem was solved. However, Youngboy, despite being messed up and tired, he used his last bit of power to try to go to the surface to regain the lost oxygen. He successfully reached the surface. He began looking for a close land to go to, and he saw one not too far away from him. So he started swimming towards it with all of his strength. Upon reaching sand, he saw a fisherman who was fishing, and he decided to tell him to help him, and the fisherman agreed and told him to follow him, since he has some gear in his truck that could take them cuffs out. He asked him what happened to him, but Youngboy lied and said that he was kidnapped by some gang members. The man had a welding machine in the back of his truck that could break the cuffs. He took it and began working on them. He successfully broke the cuffs out. Youngboy was very happy that he managed to survive and be free once again. The man, still confused, told him that he got to go get his fishing rod as he left it there. Youngboy thought that this man, despite helping him, was a threat as he could snitch to the police. So, hopped in the trunk and looked for something to kill him with. He found an axe that he thought could do the work. Youngboy hid behind the rocks and waited for the man to arrive to strike him. The man eventually arrived and was even more confused as he didn't saw Youngboy. He ran towards him and struck him straight in the head. He didn't even give him the chance to pray, as he kept on hitting him until he died. He then stole his truck and drove away from the place, leaving his body to rot there until someone finds him. Youngboy thought that this truck could get him into trouble, so he decided to get rid of it and instead steal another car temporarily as he laid low from the cops. He stole the car and once again drove to Lil Durk's mansion to finish the job. He arrived at nighttime. To his surprise, he saw that there has been cops in the daytime, as they left their cars there with a lot of police tapes in several places, including the crime scene. But they seemed to have left as the place was empty. Youngboy entered the mansion anyways, but he found a guard who was there alone. Youngboy decided to neutralize him. He made sure he dies. And then Youngboy entered the mansion. He was caught on CCTV cameras. Upon entering, he saw that the place was empty. He was disappointed, but he looked for a clue on where Vaughn and Durk could be. He found Durk's PC, so he immediately went to locate them. He knew where they are as he saw their new location on the PC. He then went directly to them. Part 2 on the way.